microphone is still muted. There we go. Hello, hello. Hopefully my microphone is unmuted. I'm just looking for somewhere to put my chewing gum because I picked the most inopportune moment to start chewing some chewing gum. Look at me go. There we go. Back in the packet. Lovely jubbly. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Let's just slide you guys back a little bit. There we go. Cool. It's been a while, 2 weeks now, because I had a week off last week for my vacation. My hair is doing something funny with there we go. Hello. Yeah, been a while. Vacation last week. Call it a success. I got a tan. Neither of my kids drowned. No issues with the flights. Yeah, that's a success for me. Been busy in the meantime. Bit of work over the break. Regardless, esports never ever sleeps. So there's a few things I missed out on this last few weeks. So yeah, most of it's roster changes. So nothing that I generally like to comment on because I don't really think it's super appropriate to do so. So, we can quickly just review them. I guess the main ones that are relevant to us, just to remind everyone who may have been keeping their head under a rock, I guess you could say. Let's just drag up the ones that make the most sense to talk about. Oh gosh, where are we? There we go. And what was the last one? Oh yeah. Here we go. And there. Cool. So, hold on one sec. So let's start with some of the news. So, the first one that came out was this one. Wildcard bench, Fuzi and Stanislaw. Yeah, I mean, I guess the Fuzi one maybe made sense after the whole Stu 2K thing, that maybe they had an issue. I don't know. I think everyone's a bit confused about the Stanislaw one, especially because they haven't signed a direct IGL to replace them. So I guess we can switch over now. Again, I don't want to comment too much about things because it's not my place to really do it. So they replaced them with Peeping and Friend. Peeping, being North American, was recently playing for Nouns, I believe. It was Nouns, right? I'm not completely crazy. It was Nouns. Yeah, it was Nouns. He's played on Nouns the last 6 months, and I think before that he was on Party Astronauts, potentially. And then Friend, who I believe he stood in for them, right? He's been on their academy for the last 6-7 months, but I think he actually stood in for them at an event where Fuzi couldn't get his visa. Am I going crazy here? Did that happen? Was it him? It was, right? Yeah. He stood in for them at ESL Challenger at Atlanta last year. Yeah, ESL Challenger Atlanta last year. So they obviously liked him after that stint. So they picked him up after Permitter and put him on their academy team. So, I guess they know a lot about him. So that makes sense for them. Next up was the sort of the trading thing going on here. So we had NRG. Benched OC. What they seem to have missed in this was that they announced it separately. So yeah, OC was benched, and then Hexed was transferred to M80 to replace Rec, which is kind of a 1-to-1 replacement. Like Hexed, I think, plays Anchor Lurk. Rec played Anchor Lurk for the most part, so I think it's a 1-to-1 trade there. Which means that M80 no longer have the USA flag, I guess. They must have the... oh no, they still got the USA flag. What? Must be Canadian, right? Oh yeah, they got the weird fun one. And then to finish off all the other major North American changes, NRG had to replace Hex and OC. In come Nosrak, or Carson, as is he? I could have sworn he actually changed his name to Carson. I don't know. Yeah, Carson and Zotic, who I've heard a lot about, but don't. he's sort of, all the stuff he did was sort of before my time. But he's actually like almost old school. Like, some people won't remember like Splice, like 2018 Splice. Like, this guy's like 8 years ago, he was playing, sort of actively. So, he was playing when he was like a 17-year-old kid, and has clearly had a weird kind of career through the world, and then took a 3-year break, and then comes back and joins Energy immediately. Yeah, that'll be interesting, to say the least. He's got a very interesting team graph, to say the least. Yeah, lots of big jumps and gaps. So I don't dislike it. I think it's cool that NRG are taking a bit of a risk and trying to, come out of left field and surprise us. So I don't dislike it. It does feel a bit out of left field to me, but sure. I mean, why not? Go for it. Like, they've got an interesting team now. Be very interesting to see how these two step up into what will be a significantly higher level of play when NRG start attending like Pro League and things like that. Like, Carson's been to quite a few like smaller lands, I think, but I don't think he's been to any like big lands. He's been obviously to like the RMRs and things like that, but I don't think he's been to like a tier 1 LAN event. I wouldn't call the America's RMR a tier 1 LAN event. So let's have a look. Okay, he went to Dallas. He played Dallas in 2023. Yeah, that's all Philadelphia. RMR, Philadelphia, RMR, Philadelphia. So he's got Dallas, and he's got this Jönköping event here. Who was at this event? Okay, I mean, they played Eternal Fire, so it was by no means an easy game. So he's got some experience. And I think Monty win this event? I think Monty won this event, right? Am I crazy? Yeah, Monty won the event. So yeah, tough tournament for Nouns for sure to play against. I mean, they beat Eternal Fire in the first game. I do not remember this. 4 clutches to 0. That's brutal. That's probably why, to be honest. This is a very old Nouns lineup. I haven't seen this one for a long time. So yeah, Carson doesn't have the most experience in the world, but he's been to a few. I mean, yeah, this is rough, like G2 and then into Furia as your 2 games, and this is what I call the best iteration of Furia for a long time. The art drop Ceph one. So yeah, that's a tough gig for Carson, but yeah, it seems like he's going to have a lot more higher level matches to play in the near future. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes for Carson. Arata 2000, Cole Mither got leaked. How do you feel about that? Will there be an investigation into this? Cole has been infiltrated. Okay, so I know exactly what's happened. I don't want to talk too much about the situation yet, because we've obviously got some official announcements to go through, but we do have a coach who will be working with us for the upcoming events. And it wasn't a leak. It was just something that we had to do out of necessity. And unfortunately, that thing of necessity is public. Therefore, it's hard to avoid doing it. But it's no stress, no leaks or anything like that. There's no moles or anything to worry about. Let's just do some quick shout outs. We're 15 minutes in or 10 minutes in. I don't know if the countdown timer started when I started the countdown or when I went live, but where are we? The new legacy. What do we call these? These aren't the legacy teas, are they? What do we call these? Oh, I keep forgetting what we call them. Oh, no, we are calling them the legacy tea. Okay. Boom. Legacy tea. 4 different colors. And, I mean, I have some of them. Hold on. Obviously, we've got the black one, the OG. We've got the pink one that I didn't iron because I wore it last time we were here, and then it's been sitting in the wash for a while. And then I haven't even got around to opening my grey and my white one because they're going with me to Belgrade in 2 days when I travel. So you've got the white one, which has got the colours on it, quite nice, and you've got the grey one with the black. Lovely, lovely. Go grab yourself a Legacy tee from the Cole store. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. And I think these are actually some of the nicer shirts we've got. I think they're quite like understated. Like it doesn't scream like I'm a gamer, which that to me is like the ultimate sort of barometer for like good esports merch. Is that I really, really do not want to be seen as an outright gamer. Review the brief. Do we have a brief? I don't get sent these things, Scott. I just work here. Okay. Next up, what have we got? Does that thing ever go away? Hide. There we go. Join the Face It Club, guys. I know right before, actually it was right after I left, we did the Face It community night. I know that Danny and Nick had a great 4 hours or something playing Pugs with you guys. It sounds like you guys also had fun. I saw lots of the chat in Discord when I was doom scrolling one night after it happened. So it seems like everybody had a good night, and we will try and do another one. I think when the guys are back from Europe. So I mean, it'll be August sometime. I don't want to make any promises until we see the schedule and see what things are like, but we'll try and do another one. I think I think you guys appreciate it. We'll make sure we get Grim involved this time. We'll make sure he's scheduled outside of the player break so he's actually available, and maybe we'll get one of the other guys available if they're in North America for any reason. Other than that, let's have a look. Hold on. Join the Discord, guys. Join the Discord. You can talk to me all day, every day, because I'm obsessive and I respond to everything. So, yeah, you should go ahead and do that because it's good for you and you'll get to talk to me all the time, which, and there's other things, but you mostly get to talk to me all the time. Next thing that we have, and this is possibly the most important thing that I can tell you guys about this week. Are you guys ready? Because it's back, guys. The NA Revival Series is back. I think this is number 7. Are we on number 7 now? Let's have a look. We haven't listed the number. It's called July 2025. I think this is number 7. I'll have to be corrected if I'm wrong, but I think it's number 7. July 25th to 27th, which is in 2 weeks' time. I think we do open qualifier on the Friday, and then it's all through playoffs on the Saturday and Sunday. Guys, if you need your VRS points, you need to sign up. We're unfortunately not going to be there because we're going to be at IEM Cologne, I believe. And obviously, guys, we can't play anyway because that would be a conflict of interest. So, yeah, guys, make sure you're heading over to Face It, join up the Revival series. It's a very important initiative, I think, along with many others. Fragadelphia and all these other open lands, but it's really important that players have a place to play. I think that's the biggest issue facing North America right now is there's just not enough places for Counter-Strike players to go and play Counter-Strike in North America. So yeah, keep supporting the Revival series. Tune in if you're a viewer. Make sure you're playing if you're a player, and yeah, we just need to keep pushing North America, keep getting more of these deals through, keep running more tournaments, and yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll see a revival. It's good to mention. It's good to mention. I know it's been brought up before, but Sixy and Nix last year were playing these Revival Cups, and now they're on Complexity. That's a pretty good path towards becoming a pro. So, it's a good place to be seen. It's a good place to get people get eyeballs on you, and if you want to make that step, it's it might not be us, but it might be someone else who sees you playing in these kind of cups, and you might get your next step. So, make sure you're signing up. That's my pimp out for the Revival series, which is a really good initiative. And yes, as I said, Fragadelphia, all those other events, also doing a fantastic job at, promoting North American Counter-Strike, facilitating competition. Now they're getting international competition coming over. It's really, 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 really fucking cool. And we just need more and more of it. Really, it's just an ongoing thing. You have to be relentless. You can't just sit and rest. It's an ongoing, constant thing of just keep pumping out events, and the players will come. If there's more to play, then there'll be more players, and if there's more players, there'll be more to play, and hopefully there'll be more people viewing, and we just sort of roll and roll and roll. So, Floofy's, I think 60 was at Frag 18. I believe he was playing for Undone with Steel and Skadoodle, but they ended up playing with a sub for Skadoodle, something like that. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. What else have we got on the list for this week? I mean, I guess we can jump on over to Fisher Playground number 1, because they announced, obviously, their full team list, I think, since we last spoke, because they took a while to do that. And they've also announced the groups. So, here are the groups. I'll just throw up the opening matches as well so you can see. If you ask me, I think Group C is an absolute killer. I think this is a brutal group. Just so you're aware, they did the seeding based off the invitation ranking. And the invitation ranking was in May. So they it's been a long time, and lots of things have changed. Certainly, like for example, like Lin Vision have massively shot up the rankings. Like right now, they're a fourth seed in their group, which I think makes them the second lowest seed of the tournament, because it goes A, B, C, D, D, C, B, A, B, C, D, D, C. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Wildcard are the lowest seed in the tournament. And Lin Vision are the second lowest seed, and Tai Lu are the third lowest seed, which obviously, when you look at it, seems pretty wrong, given how well they performed at the major. We're the number 3 seed, I think, at this tournament, which again, if you look at the major, that probably isn't fully true. Furia are a third seed in their group. Pain are a second seed in their group. They made playoffs. Mibba did pretty good. Like the groups are a bit weird, and that's the reason why, is because they're using a very old ranking for the seeding. So I'm pretty happy with our group. It's a bunch of teams that we've played a lot, and Heroic have just made 2 changes, right? They've added Grix and Nilo, and I suppose they've also changed the coach, so they've added 3 players. I know Nilo technically joined them, back then, but yeah, they've made some changes, and Big, I think, stuck with their team, but have got a new coach. Yeah, they've got a new coach for Skrunk, and Bet Boom just released Zorte. Yeah, they just benched Zorte yesterday or 2 days ago, and my understanding is they are getting Art Frost, is what I've heard. I don't know if that's true, but I believe they're getting Art Frost. Our first match is against Bet Boom themselves. Let's check in on the odds from HLTV. Do I just not get betting odds? Okay, well, pick a winner. People aren't liking us, guys. Oh, I moved the needle by a bit. That means there are not many people who voted. But it's good to know, obviously, this guy, Holzerk, is he's back. He's back playing. I can confirm that he is in Serbia right now with the North American contingent of our squad, and he's back playing. He's had an extended break, I guess you could say. So he was happy to get back started again. So that's that's good for us. Obviously, he's a very important part of our team. Okay, so HLTV have Art Frost listed in the team already, despite the fact that, as far as I can tell, there's no official announcement about that. But that's who our first match is against. All we have to do to make playoffs is win 2 matches. It's standard GSL, so there's just winners, elimination, decider, and then top 8 is just single elimination playoffs. So yeah, I'm hoping for a playoffs run. I think we're more than capable of making a playoffs run if we're playing to the level we can play at. But there's lots of changes. Heroic, who knows how good they're going to be. Big, they've stayed the same roster, same as us, so they should be pretty stable. Betboom made one change. They could be a bit unpredictable. I think we've got a group we can win. We've got a group we can progress through. So I'm quite happy. I'd much rather be in this group than this group. I think this, like, VP with Perfecto is going to be tough. Astralis with more time with Hooks is going to be tough. I think Mibba made 2 changes or just 1 change. Okay, so just Lukowski has gone so far from MIBR, but they'll be good. Like, there's no way they'll just suddenly be terrible. And Tyloo are on their big upswing with Mr. G, the ice cream man. So yeah, I think Group C is really tough. I think Group A again is like another one where, like, Game Legion are probably going to be quite solid. Furia are going to be solid. Saw made 2 changes, right? Yeah, so Saw got rid of the 2 foreign guys. Saw got rid of Sejot and Zuwu and have brought in who? So they've promoted their analyst to a coach, and they've acquired Crazy and Aragon from Rhino. Okay, so that's the other Portuguese team. So they've gone back all Portuguese. And they've now got a new roster as well. So, like, this one could be tough. I think wildcard. I think it's a really rough. I need to disable it to see the odds. Ad block. Okay, well, I mean, I've just been outed as an ad block user there. Yeah, I think wildcard have got a very tough group as, like, their first event of the year to go in and play against these 3. I think they're going to find it very tough to get wins on the board. Not because I think that the wild card is a bad team, but just because I think they've got a tough group. Like, coming in as a 4th seed against these 3 is rough. Group B is actually the group that I think is just going to be chaos. Because they've got 2 Chinese teams who both, both on their day can be extremely good or non-existent to some degree. Pain, our recent major, semi-finalists? Did they make the semi-finals? They beat Furia, right? So they're semi-finalists of the major. So, they're coming off a hot swing, but, they've also had 3 weeks off or 4 weeks off. So they're going to be finding out how they come down and how to bring themselves back up again. And then, 3D Max, who have just been sort of consistently good, but not great. Is that fair to say? I'm trying to think, like, who they've lost to in the last sort of few months. I think it's mostly been against, like, quite good top teams. Let's have a look. So, I mean, that's a pretty solid run through Pro League. Is that to playoffs or is that to the last match of the groups? I think it's last match of groups. I think they made it through there. Bucharest, they went 3-0 and then lost to FaZe. Melbourne lost to Gamer Legion, beat Big, lost to FaZe. Lost to Gamer Legion again, beat Legacy, lost to G2. Beat Betboom, lost to Legacy, beat Nemiga, beat FaZe, beat G2, and then so I mean, they made stage 3 of the major from stage 2, and I mean, they're a solid team, but again, they're one of those teams that's like, they're doing good, they're getting wins on the board, but when it comes up against the Vitalities and the Navis, to some extent maybe the G2s. I mean, I know they smashed G2 here, but they lost in the best of 3. Struggling against Gamer Legion, lost to FaZe. They're sort of in the same position we were in last year, where on our day, you can go and beat the Mongols, Astralis, and Aurora, and then you'll lose, afterwards. And it's just like, it's tough to go from beating sort of what I'd say the sort of the top 10 teams to beating the top, the Navis and the Vitalities. So I mean, 3D Max are definitely a good team. So I'm, again, this group could be like, if 3D Max play the way they have been, they'll probably win the group. If they play slightly worse than that, then you might see a Pain or an Envision go through. Like, I think all the groups are really good. And I actually, this actually might be my favorite event of the year so far. just because actually, like, calling a winner in this tournament right now is next to impossible. Like, next to impossible. Like, if you go back and look at all, like, the IEMs, the Pro Leagues, the Blast events, like, even to some extent the PGL events, you know, you can look at the sort of the top teams and be like, okay, Vitality Spirit, one of them's going to win. Vitality Spirit Mouse, one of them's going to win. Spirit Mouse, one of them's going to win. Like, there's, you know, it sort of just wrote, you know, the story sort of wrote itself. I think, like, these teams, like, this is almost pure chaos. Like, even when you get to the playoffs, like, I couldn't tell you who's going to win the playoffs out of, like, the best teams from each of these groups. You know, there'll be favorites. You know, 3D Max, if they make playoffs, will probably be a favorite. VP will probably be a favorite. Furia will probably be a favorite. You know, I'd say probably Heroic from our group would probably be a favorite based on how they've performed. And, you know, I think they've made some good roster changes. But beyond that, like, it's really tough. So I think for once I'm actually going to be surprised, or not surprised, depending how you see it, about the results. Which, yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one. Sorry, I didn't realize it was small there. And then what's the next event? Okay, so after that we're going to Cologne. I don't think they've announced the groups for Cologne, but we could figure that, didn't we? We tried to figure that out last time, but the ranking hadn't updated. But I think we can do it now again, with knowledge that the ranking has now officially actually updated. Let me go and find. Yeah, here we go. So let's go to the rankings, and we can. This is my tab from last week. So this has still got all the all the random NRG stat, all the random win percentage stats that we got asked to calculate last week. So this was the predicted ranking, I think, for last week. Let's see if it's still valid. So this is stage 1. So the big dogs are not in here yet, but weirdly, FaZe are ranked 7 despite being in stage 1. They've switched places with Na'Vi from the looks of it. So they are number 7, and Furia are number 9. That's correct. Gamer Legion are number 11. That's correct. Heroic are 12. That is correct. 3D Max 13. I'm getting 3D Max. Yeah, 3D Max 13. VP at 14. Astralis at 15. Is that correct? Yeah. Pain 16. Yeah. Liquid 17. So that matchup is correct. Linvision at 18. Oh, but Linvision didn't make the event, right? Because so Linvision are ranked 18, but they didn't make the event because all their points got added after the major, and the invites for this were done in June, which technically was before the major. So Linvision weren't there. Tyloo are also okay. Tyloo are there, and they're ranked 20, so that's correct. Legacy 21. A Legacy here? No, Legacy again. Victims of the major, not giving them invites. MIBR are there, and they are 22. NIP are here, right? NIP 23, yep. And then 24 is us. Yep. And then who else is there? We're ranked 15. Who's seed 15? FlyQuest. FlyQuest is 30, that's correct. And Big are 32. Big are 33, actually. Yep. So this should be the brackets. I don't know if you guys can actually read that, but yeah, this will be the upper bracket. These 8 teams here. And then this will be the lower bracket here, which is there. Assuming ESL don't throw any weird wild cards, at least, which I hope they won't, but that should be the bracket. Again, Gamer Legion into Tyloo VP. If you want to qualify for playoffs directly, at least, you have to beat, for us, it would be beating Gamer Legion and then beating the winner of Tyloo VP, which is a tough bracket, but I think if you want to make top 16 at Cologne, you have to play tough teams. So that's just how it is. You know, Astralis B8, I mean, I love that matchup just because that was obviously the matchup where Astralis got beaten to not go to the major. So they'll be very motivated there. Fury of FlyQuest is always a banger. I distinctly remember these two playing a match. I think it was a Pro League. I say distinctly remember and then guess which event it was, which makes it sound worse. But I think it was at Pro League. I think it was the one that we went top 4 in. Is that me being crazy? I think it was that one. Ah, no, that was FlyQuest Liquid, that one game. I can't remember which one the Furia FlyQuest game was, but it was a good game they played out together. I think they'll be good. Obviously, FlyQuest with our former boy JKS has gone to FlyQuest now, back to his home country, which will be really cool for him. Nip versus Heroic will be a one-sided trash talk Twitter match from Heroic. 3D Max Mibber, it's a fun game. Liquid Pain, fun game. I think the upper bracket is stronger, right? Like FaZe Big, Liquid Pain, 3D Max Mibber, Nip Heroic versus us and Gamer Legion, Tyloo VP, Astralis B8, FlyQuest Furia. Yeah, I definitely think the upper side of this bracket is tough, but you have to think of it in like fours, because it's like these teams will play against each other, these teams will play against each other, these teams will play against each other. So yeah, I mean, I think the upper bracket's definitely tougher, but I don't think it's I don't think it matters when it comes to Cologne. I think every match is tough, and it is what it is. Where else are we at? I guess there is some VRS stuff to quickly go through. I don't think they made any ranking changes since I've been away, but they definitely made a rule change today. Actually, they made 2 rule changes since I was away. So let's grab those quickly, because that's what we do. So the first one that is relevant is, let's grab, oh, okay, well, I guess we'll just go in the normal way. Where are we at? Here we go. I'm remembering how to do all this. Is that the one? Yes, it is. Cool. So this is the first thing we need to quickly just remind ourselves of. So the StarLadder Budapest Major will be 32 teams. It will be fully invited from regional standing. 16 teams will be invited to stage 1, 8 to stage 2, 8 to stage 3. The stage 2 and the stage 3 invites are based on how many teams made that stage in Austin. And weirdly symmetrically, it was 5 for Europe, 2 to Americas, and 1 for Asia in both of those stages. What has changed is that Valve in the past used to pre-assign these numbers. So it used to be 6 for Europe, 6 for America, and 4 for Asia. Prior to that, it was 3 for Europe, 3 for America, 2 for Asia, back when we were back when it was 24 teams, but now they've expanded to 32 teams. It became 16. Now, I haven't done the full math on it yet, but I want to, I think, this week, and maybe I'll come with some suggestions next week. But yeah, as Slove rightly says, that worries me. Yeah, it does, because this stuff should be known. This information should be known already, because you've got teams who are investing into 6 months worth of Counter-Strike, and Valve aren't telling you what the golden prize is at the end. Like this should never have happened. Like this is really truthfully unacceptable. I don't know what Valve are waiting for. I don't know what they could be waiting for. I don't know what could change between now and the decision-making point that could influence why this would change. If they wanted to change the numbers and say Europe gets 6, America gets 5, and Asia gets 5, I would have understood it. But to put it as TBD and leave so many teams in complete limbo as to understanding like how they're going to qualify is just crazy to me. They could do something along the lines of, and I guess we could do this exercise together, because why not? They could do something which is kind of similar to what ESL used to do. So if people remember what ESL used to do for their invites to Cologne and Katowice was they would have dedicated slots for like North America, South America, Oceania, Asia, and Europe, and they would distribute those slots to their regions first, and then everything after that point would all be global slots. So again, like, I think there's a few different ways they could look at distributing this. I think this one could make the most sense, but I don't understand why they would put it as TBD. Like, I would like to see them put it as global, but you know, for a I don't know, for an exercise, let's just see what happens if we do that. Like, how the distribution would look, because I'm just curious personally. So let's have a look. So that's stage 3. Then we'd have stage 2. One sec, I will share the correct tab with you guys. So here we are. I've zoomed in quite a bit so you guys can actually read it. Let's have a look. So if they distributed it in the way I just said, so stage 1 here would be global, and then there'd be, what, 16 of those. So let's just make this easy for, oh Christ. Let's just make this easy for myself. Cool. Global. Right. Nice. So right now, EU1 would be Vitality. That would be Mouse, Spirit. AS would be... Hold on. Let's just flip those over because I don't want to be confused by that. There we go. Cool. This would be Mongols. Next on the list would be Falcons, Aurora, and then we get to the Americas team. So that would be Furia and Pain as it stands right now, which is a pretty good stage 3. I mean, it's not wrong, and I mean this is actually technically correct, right? This is actually what would happen anyway, because it would always be the highest ranked teams from those regions. So this is actually, so far, this is actually what will happen. But things will get a bit more interesting as we continue on down the list, because when we get to the point where it's I don't know, where the regions wouldn't necessarily align, what you will get with this system is you'll get a very, very heavy European stage 1, which I would argue is one of the worst things that could realistically happen. I think it will lead to extreme North American bias. Oh, sorry, European bias, which, I mean, we don't need any more of that in the ecosystem. So there you go. That's stage 2. Again, you know, not a crazy team list for stage 2. I don't dislike it at all. Stage 1 would be like this under this system. Let's have a look. B8. Who's next? MIBR, NIP, Complexity, Fnatic, Ecstatic, Navi Junior, except it wouldn't be. Well, I suppose we can just leave them in there for now. Nimiga, TNL, FlyQuest, Rare, Atom, Ents, Big. That isn't right. Just wait a second. I've definitely missed a team, because there's no way. I've 100% missed a team, and I can't tell you who it is right now, which is annoying, because I've ended at rank 33, and I can't end at rank 33. Can I? No, I can't end at rank 33. If every single team is within the top 32, I can't end at rank 33. So I've missed someone, but you get the idea. So now let's say we compare it to how it was going to be based off the previous system. So let's have a look. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So technically everything here would remain the same, right? Everything up here would be the same, because those teams are still the highest ranked teams in their region. Did I miss a top team? Is that what's happened? Vitality, Mouse, Spirit, Falcons, Aurora, FaZe, Navi, G2, Gamer Legion, Heroic. Okay, I didn't miss a top team. Did I start 3D Max? Oh, I see what happened. Delete big. Drag all that down. There we go. That's what it would look like. So this is just global priority. This one. This is the old system. So let's just put old global. So this would look something like. Actually, that's almost correct. And then nip would be there. And then they would be there. They would be there. Let's have a look. Now, Falcons are up here. Falcons are up in stage 3. So who's the highest Asia team here? Is that Rare Atom? So Rare Atom would go there. So I think that's it, right? Is there any FlyQuest as well. FlyQuest would also be in. FlyQuest would actually be higher, wouldn't they? So I guess you can see the losers, right? It's these guys. So these are the losers of this system, the old system. And I guess ultimately you have to say, like, sorry, these would be the winners. Sorry, these would be the winners of the new. If it was fully global system, these would be the winners. These guys here, because these are the European teams that are sneaking into what used to be the old America slots. And can I just say that the idea of removing 6 America's qualification slots and then essentially just giving them all to Europe, or giving nearly all of them to Europe, is just complete lunacy. Like, looking at it now, like, you're taking away basically, like, there's no way that the lower tier America's teams are ever going to qualify for the major if they switch to the full global. So I assume they will still do regional slots, but we can just fill in these last few teams just so we can see what it would actually look like. So after us, it would be NRG, Imperial, Wildcard, M80, who. Yes, I'm aware that none of them progressed through a stage that they played at the last major, but I still think that most of them deserve to be there. I think in the 32-team major, I think most of them still deserve to be there. Especially because North America, Americas, sorry, because shout out to the Brazilian guys, they just earned 2 slots in the playoffs, right? They just earned 2 more stage 3 slots. What was actually fucked up was the North American teams didn't earn the other slots, right? We didn't progress through the stage 1 and stage 2, so we lost a slot overall, but we actually have more valuable slots now. So to just remove like all of these slots essentially would be like just cruel, in my opinion. And then Asia would be, let's have a look. Chinggis Warriors, here we go. And the Huns. That's how it would look with 1 extra slot in the major. Sorry, hold on. Wait, Mongols, Lin Vision, Tyloo, FlyQuest, Rare. Who was the 5th team at the major for Asia this time? Was it Rare Atom? Did Rare Atom play the major? Oh no, it was Chinggis Warriors. It was Chinggis Warriors who played. So, because they only had, how many slots did they have last time? Oh, we're missing Tyloo. That's what's happened. We're missing Tyloo. Tyloo would go there. It's because Tyloo was actually getting downgraded, I think, right? Have I skipped Tyloo in the global ranking there as well? Or am I just blind? Where's Tyloo? Tyloo are above Legacy and below B8. They're above Legacy, but Legacy took that slot. So yeah, Legacy are also, Tyloo are also missing. They should be right there. Yeah, so Tyloo. So actually, it's not as bad for Europe, for non-European teams. So these are the 5 teams that would benefit from this change. Fixed it. There you go. MIB are listed twice. MIB are listed twice. That's what's happened. Okay, there we go. Good job. Perfect. Thank you very much for the observation there. Yeah, MIB are listed up here, and I continued on with them down here. So that's why I fucked up. Cool. So I just put MIB instead of Tyloo. Nice. So yeah, this is the old system, how it would be if they just continued on as they were. This is if they just switched to fully global. I mean, I don't know what other methods they could really use. Does anyone have any ideas of what other methods they could use? Like, this is something that I've been thinking about but haven't really put into practice yet. Obviously they could adjust some of these numbers. I mean, I have to say, like, I think if they added on the right as well. Okay, cool. So MIB are actually there twice. You're right. So this would be there. Yeah, it's because I copy pasted, right? So who would take the other Americas slot? I think technically it's Furia female, but they obviously, it actually is Furia female. Yes. Cool. Do you think they'll do sub-regions, Mischief? Really? The reason why, so sub-regions here. So the reason why I don't think they'll do sub-regions, and we can just quickly go through and explain what a sub-region is, I guess. At least my definition of a sub-region. I'm being stupid here. It's in here, isn't it? It's in util, right? So each country in the world, I don't think actually every single country in the world is in here. I think there's a few that I've seen that are missing. Although I did see, I think Wales is in here. Yeah, look, Wales, look at that. Wales has a country code. Look at that. And I think Scotland might also be in here somehow. But yeah, Wales is in there, WLS, which is a fun one. Yeah, so every team, well, I mean, we can go through here. So is it in the data loader where it defines the regions? No, I think it's in the region.js, right? Yeah. So here we go. So each country is assigned to a sub-region, I guess you could say. So you've got regions here, down to South America, which is Brazil, Argentina. I think that's Chile, Ecuador, Paraguay. I don't know all the freaking countries. Uruguay, Venezuela. I can't remember all the other countries. But yeah, all those teams are assigned to South America. Then you've got the Oceania countries, which is a surprisingly large amount. But obviously the key ones being Australia, New Zealand. So they're all there. They're in Oceania. Then you've got North America with the obvious North American teams. You've got European teams. And what you'll notice here now is that some of these old European teams, or what used to be also Asian countries, have been assigned to MENA, Middle East, North Africa. So there's Asia, Africa, and there is technically Antarctica, I think. No one's really considered that, but Antarctica is also in there. And yeah, so these are the sub-regions. And then what those sub-regions are then assigned to is I guess you could call it a master region or a core region, which is Europe, Americas, Asia. And so EU and MENA, or EU and Middle East, North Africa, is now assigned to 0, which in the way it works is it assigns it to position 0 in this array here, essentially, which is Europe. And then North America and South America are both assigned to Americas, and everything else goes to Asia, which is this part here, with the exception of Africa now, which don't want to get too complicated, but it goes somewhere else. So if you wanted to assign sub-regional slots to the major, then you'd be assigning slots to South America, Oceania, North America, EU technically as one full sub-region, Asia as a full subregion, and MENA as a full subregion. And I think the issue you'd find there is that I think you'll find that the MENA subregion is extremely weak. I think that's one way to put it. And maybe they would take like a single slot off the Americas based on the fact that Americas performed worse last major. I don't know. I think there's lots of different ways they could do it, but we could have a little look. See, hold on. Let's see if we can make a reasonable guesswork at what a MENA slot would look like. So let's keep. Where are we? Let's go back to here. So we'll keep the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Sorry, stage 2 and stage 3 as they are. And we'll go down to stage 1 and we will assign, I don't know why I've gone so far over with this, subregions. So, well, AS has to be split into Oceania and Asia. I guess that's pretty obvious. NA, SA. Let's give South America 3 slots, and let's turn one of those North America slots into MENA. I mean, I have to say, I don't actually hate it. Aside from the obvious of North America losing a slot, I don't actually hate it too much. Looking at that, I mean, it kind of gives Asia 5 slots, but technically it's giving Europe a 7th slot without removing a slot from Europe. I think the issue with something like this is that sub-regional competition can be extremely fickle to some degree, and it could be the sub-regional. Where is this open? I swear to God, I don't have this. Oh, I do have it open, literally the tab right behind. There we go. That's why I couldn't see it. So I think that the sub-regional allocation can be a bit wonky sometimes, which I don't necessarily agree with, like splitting it 3 and 2. But again, I think South America is clearly the stronger region, so it makes sense for them to have the extra slot. I think Asia and Oceania are pretty even, although you could argue that based on the last major, the fact that Linvision and the Mongols, Tyloo and the Mongols went as far as they did, could perhaps say that Asia deserves an extra slot, but then you can't do 3 and 1, and MENA still has to have a slot. So then do you remove, do you do this kind of thing? Hold on, this was an America slot, right? And this was AS. Do you then put MENA up here and then add an extra Asia slot like that? I think that then disincentivizes EU too much. Why should the EU lose a slot because MENA got added to their region? Yeah, I don't like that as much as I like that. Does that make sense? So we can fill in some of these blanks quickly. This would actually be Furia female. Who would be the next team in line for this slot if it was South America? I guess it'd be Odic, right? Was it Odic? Yeah, it's Odic. Let's have a look. Odic. Okay, Middle East, North Africa, I'm going to have to come back to, because that I truly do not know. Especially because they just switched region, right? Asia would be Tyloo and Rare Atom, and then Oceania will be FlyQuest and Semper Fi. I mean, it's actually pretty clear right now that North America under this example is getting screwed, right? Because we actually have four 4 of these slots are going to North America. I'm going off the official update that came out 2 days ago, not the HLTV one. On the official update, Fury Female is ahead of Odic by 9 points. Yeah, I mean, again, this is why I don't necessarily like splitting the Americas slots like this. Like when you look at the, obviously, yes, Furia Pain, Legacy, MIBR, they've got 4 slots already. To give South America another 3 slots really would lower the then you're going quite deep into that region, and South America is not that deep as a region. Whereas the best North American teams are probably better than Odic and Furia Female, and I guess the next team under that would be Sharks if they weren't invited. Sharks are ranked 14th, which is below Boss and Getting Info as well. So yeah, I don't necessarily like going sub-regions. I don't like the sub-region. I've decided I don't like this because I think that, again, because like one region is so dominant, then you end up going really deep into their sub-region to get the next teams for these lower ones. It's not so bad in Asia. Like Tyloo Rare Atom seems fine. FlyQuest Simplify seems fine. I think in South America it's a bit of a problem. Yeah, it's I do not like this one. I don't even know who the MENA team is. Who's the best team from MENA right now? Because they've just been added into the European ranking, so I wouldn't even know who it specifically would be. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't thought of any more different distributions so far, but I would assume it will be somewhere between these two. That would be my guess. GG How, are they the best? Are they the best MENA team? GG How are ranked. Oh, they're ranked 29. How are they so freaking high? What do they play? And so GG How are now on the European ranking. Yeah, they're definitely the best MENA team by quite a way, right? Okay, cool. GG How. There you go. Okay, sure. Yeah. How did they get so highly ranked? What have they been playing? It's like they had a huge boost in VRS in like April, and then they just haven't gone down. They've just been sat at like VRS rank 40 for like 3 months. What have they been playing? Just qualifiers? Did they go to Mesa Nomadic Masters? They did. They won a game. Okay, so they got a LAN win there. They went to... okay, I see how it is. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they played Hero. They got like 2 wins. They got like 2 LAN wins here, 1 LAN win here, some qualifier results, and that gave them the points they needed. Yeah, it's LAN wins. That's how it is. Sorry, I'll just share the tab so you can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, they played these 2 LAN events against only Asian teams and got LAN wins, which basically boosted them really highly. Not to discredit that those wins aren't worth anything, but that's what they did. And was this on LAN as well? This Mesa Asia Masters? It was on LAN as well, and they got some LAN wins there. So they've basically sort of been like farming up LAN wins across the whole year, and that's just been maintaining them at like this sort of steady this leader. They got up, and then once you get some land wins, it's I think that's exactly what's happened. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they got 8 land wins in the last 3 months or 4 months. So that'll be what's propped them up quite so heavy. Yeah, all makes sense now. All makes sense. Cool. Okay, we are an hour in now, which is usually when I say we are going to stop because I don't want to go too late. I started an hour late today because I had some stuff to take care of. And yeah, let's just see if there's anything that I've missed. I'm sure there was something else that I was meant to talk about. Oh no, I've missed that already. Never mind. Cool. Well, let's just do it again quickly. The Legacy Tea, which I've just blocked with... Hold on. The Legacy Tea. There we go. Look, it's the same one that's in the fucking picture. It's on this side. I'm never going to get the mirrored camera going. I'm always going to point the wrong way. So I believe the Discord is up there. Boom. Join the Discord. It's a really cool place to be. Go to the shop. Join the Face It Club. I can do this all day. Sadly, I don't have any biceps. Patty Slave, for you, just for you. Look, I've still got the pink. It's right here. Here's the pink. I didn't want to wear the same shirt twice, but it has been washed. It has not been ironed. It needs to get ironed before I go to Belgrade in 2 days, 3 days. 2.5 sleeps because I've got to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to get to Belgrade on Saturday morning. So that's going to be it's going to be rough for me for sure. But it's the dedication I have to make sure that I get to the event as early as possible so that I can relieve the stress on the guys. I think they're having a good time in Belgrade so far. The practice room looked really nice. I know they got their fridge delivered today with drinks that they all like. So I think their jet lag is coming down and their attention span is going up. It's been a good few days of scrims. Can tell towards the end of the day that they've been a bit sleepy, so to speak. But that's to be expected. But that's also why we got there. It's also why we got there 6 or 7 days early. So nothing that we're not prepared for and expecting. So yeah, it's been a good few days of scrim so far, and we'll be hopefully ready and fully prepared by when's our first game? I think our first game is on the 15th. So actually we've still got like six days or 7 days of practice. So yeah, we should be nicely prepared. So everything's going good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to joining the guys on Saturday. I think we're going to be I'm not going to commit to it, but I think we're going to try and record a few bits of content. I haven't told the guys about that yet, but if they're watching, which I hope they're not, I hope they're all either sleeping or pugging, one of the two. I don't care which, to be honest, but it will likely be one of the two. I guarantee if I go to one of them now, they're probably in a pug. Oh, no, it looks like they've gone to sleep. That's good. I bet they were in a pug very recently. Oh no, I can actually see. I can actually see they played a pug. They've played or they finished a pug 8 minutes ago. So they were definitely in a pug until extremely recently. It looks like Holzerk, Grix, Sixie, and JT lost to Calix, Imor, and JW. Interesting pug. So yeah, they probably all just gone to sleep now, which is good. So we will be up bright and early in the morning. A lot of the guys are actually like early birds. Even when they're not jet lagged, they tend to be like up and awake quite early on in the morning, which is a bit of a shift from how we were last year, which I quite like because I'm up early because I have 2 children and. You don't really get to turn off your alarm clock when it's a baby jumping on your face. So, yeah, I'm an early bird these days, which means I like it when the players are early birds. It's nice to have people to it's nice to have people to talk to in the morning. Sometimes the practice room was just me and TC, or just me, TC and JT, just there for like 2-3 hours while everyone else was waking up. So nice to have some early birds. It can always guarantee that like 60 is going to be in a pug at like 8 a.m. just like grinding out some matches before we start scrims or before we start a match. So that's nice. Next week we will be live in Belgrade. We'll be in the second day of the tournament by then, which, let me just see how many matches we will have played by that point. I can see that this document very clearly says not for public, so I'm not going to show it. I don't see why it's not for public, because it is literally just the schedule as far as I can tell. There's literally no private information on this at all. Oh, I can see they've preceded the groups. So yeah, they've preceded the playoffs. So you actually know who's playing who in the playoffs already. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, our first match is on July 15th, and then... Okay, so we may have a conflict with the show next week. I'm just going to flag that right now. The winners match of our group, so if we beat BetBoom, the winners match of our group will conflict with this show. It's due to start at 8 p.m. and obviously this show typically starts at 9 p.m. Central European Standard Time, so there is a potential that we have a bit of a clash, but I will work around it, whether we do the show earlier or potentially later. The only thing I will say is that if we do that like that, there's a good chance we won't have a player join. Even I think even if we play the early game, which is at 5 p.m, we likely still will not have a player join. I suppose unless we lose. If we lose that match, then we can have a player join, because we've got nothing to do the next day apart from scrim. But if we win, then we'll have another match the next day. So I think it's unlikely we'll have a player join, and yeah, we'll go from there really. So cool. That's it really. Just a brief one this week. There's not been that much to really go through. I still want to theorize a bit more on these slots. I would love it if Valve would just come out and tell us. Like, even if it's bad news, I'd rather just know. So at least we can plan and prepare. Like, if they're going to take slots away from Americas, just tell us. Like, I'd be more than happy with that, as long as we understand like what the actual situation is. Like, the fear of the unknown of like 16 TBD stage 1 slots is just terrifying, if you ask me. Oh, there was one other thing we didn't talk about. Let's just quickly rattle through this very quickly, because there are some interesting points on this. Cool. Tournament exceptions. Valve love these. I don't know why, because they really aren't necessary if people just follow the damn rules. So, some of them are fine. ESL added third place matches, or fourth place matches to all their tournaments. So there's a bunch of these for Pro League, Chengdu, EWC, which is totally not ESL. Don't worry about that. And Krakow. And then there was some more, more egregious exceptions. I'd say this Blast Rivals exception, which they did have for 2025, which is this one here, which is may run one wildcard event after 2 tier 1 events instead of 3. So for those not in the know, the rules for third party organizers say that you have to run 3 tier 1 events before you can run a wildcard event. A wildcard event is where you get to be a bit more loosey-goosey, I guess you could say, with the invites. Which this Blast Rivals event, because tier 1 events have to be 16 teams from next year. The Rivals event is only an 8-team event, so to allow them to run an event where they can invite the best teams, which you can't do with a tier 2 event, they're running it as a wildcard event, which they shouldn't be allowed to do, because they're only running 2 tier 1 events prior to their rivals events, which is the Bounty and then the Open. For some reason, Valve were just like, hey, let's just ignore that rule for you, which in my opinion is wrong, and I don't think they should be allowed this. But hey ho. Then we've got Blast Open and Blast Premier Bounty. So Blast Open have now been officially granted an exception to run their Season 2 group stage match online. This should never have been allowed. This is bullshit. This is total bullshit. Like, they shouldn't be able to just take away that many LAN matches from their ecosystem. Like, just to give you an idea of what they've done here. So this is Blast Open Spring, which you can see here, and it was an extremely well attended event, and every single match you're seeing here, so all of these matches, all of those, which is what, 8, 2, so that's like what, 7 plus 9, 11, 12 matches, 12 matches per group. All of those were played on LAN, and then the teams flew from the Copenhagen studio to Lisbon, to Lisbon, and played the playoffs. All of these matches that you see here, all these group stage matches, are now online. So Blast Open 4 now shows 6 teams LAN event, and then this is a closed qualifier. So all these matches are now online. Like, they have just decimated, they've just completely decimated the value of going to their event. It is next to worthless, is the honest truth. In fact, it might even have negative value for many teams involved. Like this Blast Rising NA, we are most likely not playing it. We will get an invite, but we're most likely not playing it anyway because we're probably in Europe. We're hopefully in Europe. Like, playing an online North American event to qualify for an online European event where realistically all you're going to do is probably lose points. For me, just crazy. I know they tried to frame it as like, hey, teams can reduce their travel schedule. How about the teams just stop attending fucking events if they want to reduce their travel schedule? How about that? Like, how about just don't attend an event? Maybe skip an event. Like, it's a cost-saving measure. They're trying to save money. They're trying to frame it as it's for the teams, but they're trying to save money. It's fucked up. It massively reduces the value of their event, which makes going to the event almost worthless. So, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But I think most teams will get negative value out of going to this event because losing a match loses you so many points in head-to-head. Winning a match gets you little, and because this this online event will now be $0 prize money. So it's a $0 prize money online event. So it has the VRS modifier of 1.43, which means basically everything you get value from is like 14% of what it should be, and that just completely nukes all the value you can really get from it. So, but you still lose full value in the head-to-head. So, yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, it's a cost-saving measure for sure. There's no other way it can be anything other than that. And I honestly think Blast have kind of fucked their whole ecosystem with this, because they removed 24 matches from LAN. I think they only have, they have the Bounty playoffs, which is 7 times 2, so that's 14. They have the Open playoffs, which is 5 times 2, so that's 10. So they've got 24 matches in the Open playoffs, and then the Rivals, they have 4 plus 4 plus another 5. So 8 plus 5, 13. So they have 27 matches on LAN now. Oh, times 2, right? So they have 8 plus 5, 13. 13 times 2, 26. So they have 26 plus 24, whatever it was. It's not that many matches. Like, it's really not that many. They basically just took out like half of their seasonal LAN matches in in one move, which is just crazy. What you see is what you get. 65. Would non-EU teams need to pay their way to EU to play online? That is a very good question, and I'm actually going to go and figure that out right now because we can. The Blast Handbook 2025. Let's see. We can go. Let's do this exercise together. So there is parts in this about stipends towards. This is a public document. I just want to clarify. I've just Googled Blast Handbook 2025, so you can all do this yourself. This is a public document. So I'm not breaking any rules here. This is not one of the confidential ones that I'm told not to share. So could one of you just Google it and just check? I'm pretty sure, like, I Googled Blast Handbook 2025 and it's the first return. So I'm 99% sure this is a public document. So I'm happy sharing it. There is a 9,000, here you go. Blast deliverables for online events. For non-European based teams competing in the Bounty online, Blast shall provide such admitted teams an additional participation fee of €9,000 to support travel into Europe and contribute towards bootcamp facilities, the terms of which such is subject to terms of financial mechanics and saved on the amount representing the... Okay. So there's two things here. One is that I distinctly remember getting an invite a few days ago from Blast that said this was $9,000. This clearly states €9,000, so I'll be following up with them about that. Second part is, unless they've updated their handbook, this only says Bounty. It does not say Open. So, to answer your question, currently the answer is no. That was easy. Yeah, nice and easy. I'm just going to go back and find that invite they just sent me because I want to read that again now, having seen this. Let's have a look. Okay, they haven't sent an updated version of the handbook. They very clearly say $9,000 when it says €9,000. And... yeah, nothing about the Open yet. So that'll be an interesting one. We will follow up with Blast about that. Here you go. This is team management live on stream. This is my job. So the answer to that is no. There you go. Nice and easy. And then we do have one more exception towards Blast. Where are we at? We're going to get this through this pretty quickly because I already said I was going to go and I said my goodbyes and then I came back. Blast Premier Bounty may consider the MRQs as Tier 2 events for the purposes of wildcard invitations. Now this is a very interesting one because clearly Blast have requested this specifically. They've clearly gone and asked, do MRQs count as Tier 2 events? Because technically they're not, right? They're a qualifier towards the major. So clearly Blast have gone out of their way to say, okay, we would like to invite one of the teams or two of the teams or three of the teams, I think up to 4 teams with these wildcard invites. But the teams obviously are not ranked high enough. So the list of teams that are not ranked high enough on the VRS to be invited immediately is OG, I think. Is OG one of them? Wildcard, I think, is another. Imperial and Fluxo, I think. Because it's only the top 2 teams from each MRQ. So, because they're the winners. So, yeah. OG, Wildcard, Imperial, Fluxo, Chinggis Warriors, Eruption, FlyQuest, and Semperfi. And clearly Blast want at least one of those teams in their tournament. Like, the weird thing about this is the fact that they've requested it specifically. Like, they've specifically requested this. Kind of goes against Valve's own rules. Not specifically, but there's an interesting point. This is in the tournament operations requirements. It technically is in the this is in the open qualifiers, but there's also this part here for tier 2 tournaments where you cannot apply additional filters to the VRS lists, e.g. North America, insofar that they do not lead to specific targeting of individual teams or rosters. That they do not lead to specific targeting of individual teams or rosters. Well, what is this? What is this as an exception if it's not to target specific teams or rosters? Like that is the sole purpose of this exception. Like I feel like that's Valve going against their own rules and explicitly allowing it. We will never understand. We will never understand. Yeah, and then there's one final one, which maybe the most confusing one of all. CAC 2025 may invite 2 past winners of prior CAC events as wildcard invitations. May invite 2 past winners of CAC events as wildcard invitations. So, let's drag up the wildcard. Let's drag up the CAC events and see what that could mean. Here we go. CS Asia Championships. So, in 2023, FaZe Clan were the winners. In 2019, Mouse Sports were the winners with a very different roster. Just want to clarify: Chris J, Rops, Carrigan. So literally 0 players from that team are currently on Mouse Sports. I believe none of the players on Na'Vi are currently on Na'Vi. Yep. So they won in 2018. None of the players are on that team. And yeah, obviously FaZe have still got Rain and Carrigan on their VRS list. I know they just brought back Brokey, but he's not part of their VRS list right now. He's not part of their VRS core for invites. So what does that mean? They can invite 2 of them back. Well, something that got kind of put under the radar a little bit, I think HLTV mentioned it today. Where is it? Here we go. Valve had exceptions to 8 tournaments. CAC is now a tier 2 event. Upon inquiry, a Perfect World representative has revealed that CS Asia Championship is now a tier 2 event following the change of dates. They changed the dates a while back. Tier 2 event rules are in force for the tournament, specify that if invites must now start below the top 12 teams. But they got an exception to invite past event winners regardless of that requirement, which suggests that FaZe, Mouse, or Na'Vi, who won the 2023, 2019, or 2018 editions, could be in line for an invite to the Shanghai tournament. Like, I have so many issues with this that it makes my mind like it want to explode. If you're going to go to such efforts to make an event tier 2 and then to make sure that they cannot invite teams from a certain level, why do you then just allow them to do it anyway? Like what is the rationale from Valve to be like, hey, your event is now tier 2. So prior to this, they were allowed to invite from like rank 1. So, you know, Vitality, Mouse, Mongol, Spirit, Aurora. They were allowed to go all the way. But because of this, you know, Mouse are number 2, Na'Vi are 6, FaZe are 8. So they're 3 top 8 teams who are now going to be inserted into what is essentially a below tier quality of event because Valve said that they could. But in doing so, you're also going to remove opportunities from teams who should be there and are now not going to be at a tier 2 event because Valve decided, fuck you. Mr. Ben Boole over on YouTube. A wildcard invite's tied to cause as well, or could ROPS being a former winner be enough? No, I don't think so. I think it will be the organizations who will be invited. But like, why should Mousesports be able to go to this event when they have 0 of the 5 players? Why should Na'Vi be able to go to this event when they have 0 of the 5 players? Like, FaZe have still got 3 of the players who played at that event, who seems like they will be on their active roster this time around. Maybe that's fine, but it goes against everything that the VRS and the rules stipulate, that teams who are ranked 12 or above, or 12 or higher in the ranking, so 12 to 1, are not allowed to be invited to this event. But then Valve just goes out of their way to make it an exception so they can do it anyway. I do not understand why Valve go out of their way to fuck everyone. It doesn't make sense. Like, I actually don't even know like who the team is, who's got, like, if they do 1 or 2 invites, like how many invites do they do? So it's a tier 2 event. So they updated, okay, they haven't updated this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 teams get invited. So if we took the rank, and it is off the current ranking, right? So it's off today's ranking, or the ranking from a few days ago. So let's actually see what happens here. Val rankings global. So if it was done properly, starting from rank 13, it would be 3D Max. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So those would be the 10 teams that would get invited. And if you took away 2 invites, it would then be these 2 teams. So Legacy and MIBR potentially have got a pretty good case to say they've been completely fucked by this, because they should be getting an invite to this event. And if they invite 2 teams from way above here, like they could invite Mousesports, who are the 2nd best team in the world. They can invite Na'Vi. They can invite FaZe. Like, these are 7th and 8th ranked teams in the world right now. Like, these teams are specifically not allowed to be invited to this event, but Valve has gone, why not? Let's let them invite them. Because they won an event 7 years ago? Like, it just makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. I can tell you one thing. I can tell you one thing. If this event had 12 invites, I would be furious. I would be so angry if this event had 12 invites, because we would be the 12th invite. And then I'd be really upset. I'd be really, really, really upset if it had 12 invites. Maybe it would still roll down to us. Like if 2 of these teams declined, which is feasible. Like, some of these teams don't want to travel all the way to China. Like, some of these teams could legitimately decline, especially because of the timing of this event. Because we covered this a few weeks ago, but the timing of this event is, CAC is October 14th to 19th. But then a lot of teams are going to go back for IEM Chengdu. This is only a 2-week gap from Shanghai, China, October 19th. So you travel on the 20th, you return on the 21st, to November 3rd, which is when the tournament starts. So remember that means you're arriving on the 1st, which for many teams means you're flying on the 30... How many days are in October? 31st. So you're getting back on the 21st and you're flying out to China again on the 31st. Like, that's not enough time for some teams to get visas. Like, so some of these teams who are going to be attending both events may not attend both events, which means that actually we are Complexity potentially is due to get an invite to CAC, and may now be missing out on it because Valve just decided to say fuck you. I guess the good news is Meso Nomadic Masters. This event here is also a tier 2 event taking place on the same dates. But how many teams are going to choose to go to Mongolia over going to China when the prize pool is 4 times the amount? Probably not that many. So my guess is that we probably won't get CAC based on what I've just seen there. If they especially if they invite those 2 extra teams, then there's no chance. Well, not invite 2 extra. Take away 2 VRS. Take away 2 well-earned VRS invites to manipulate the ranking to give them to teams that shouldn't be in the tournament. There you go. There's a clip. That's what Valve have done. Then we will just end up at Meso Nomadic Masters that weekend. And I guess that's pretty much set in stone at this point, because how else could you do it? Like, that's the only way you could do it. I guess the next fun thing is PGL Bucharest ending on November 2nd, which means that teams that are in the top 4 fly on November 3rd. Chengdu starts on November 3rd. Are we going to have another Astana to Chengdu? Well, it was Astana to Dallas last time, right? Well, this is now Bucharest to Chengdu. So it's the same 2 tournament organisers in the same order. The difference is now they're flying forward in time, which means that the teams playing in the playoffs on November 2nd are potentially already playing or meant to be playing in China, which is 7 or 8 hours ahead of time. So if you get to midnight Bucharest time, teams are already going to have to wake up and playing in 2 or 3 hours in China after the final, right? So it worked when they went from Astana and went back 16 hours because they traveled back in time, so they kind of got the time back. You can't travel forward in time, and I'm pretty sure that Bucharest to Chengdu is not going to be that swift of a connection on November 3rd. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's not. It's a 15-hour connection. So best option here is either Qatar or actually Istanbul's not too bad because they go directly to Chengdu, but they still arrive a day late. This takes off on Monday the 3rd, which is the day after the 3rd place match and the final match, which is 4 teams, and they still get there at 5:15 on the day after they will have played their first match. So they basically guarantee to forfeit. Guaranteed to forfeit the first match. Last time ESL said that would be fine. I think that's wrong. I think they need to put their foot down. I said they had to put their foot down last time. I think they have to put their foot down this time as well. I'm curious what the flights for Sunday are, because this would also include the. Okay, so they can take the same flight on Sunday. So the teams that finish in the quarterfinals could land at 5:15 in the morning the day they play. And have to play the same day, which is technically what ESL allowed them to do last time, except that was for the semi-finals and the finals teams. This would only be for the quarterfinals teams. I don't think it should be allowed. I think ESL should put their foot down. I don't like it, but yeah, as I said earlier, teams don't need LAN events turned into online events to spend more time at home. Teams need to stop accepting invites to spend more time at home. Yeah. Other teams is teams leave the night of the finals. I don't think there'll be a flight the night of the final. I mean, this is Sunday. This is the Sunday, so if we look at late flights, Yeah, it's 36 hours plus 2, so it's all they all still arrive on. They all still arrive 2 days after, which is still the 4th. So that doesn't work. That doesn't work too well, really. Oh, 15 hours. Maybe there must be another flight. Maybe it's just price. Hold on. Let's just drag the duration down. Maybe it's just price that's causing that. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Okay. So if the grand final ended early, that would be early, wouldn't it? I'm pretty sure the Bucharest final was quite late last time we were there. Let's have a look. Astana, Bucharest, 2025. The final started at 5 p.m., but it was a best of 5. So if you assume it went to all 5 maps, you'd play for 5 hours. Even a best of 3 at 5 p.m. would make it next to impossible. I don't think PGL are gonna budge on that too much. Would be my guess. But yeah, technically they could do it, but I don't think so. We started our 3rd place match at 2 p.m. that day, so the 3rd place match teams are fine. The finals teams are not. Either way, I just don't think they should do it. I think it's fucked up, but hey, it is what it is. Nothing I can do about it. But yeah, there's going to be some interesting next few weeks as teams try and figure out all these event invites. You know, like CAC is inviting off July. Mesa Nomadic Masters is. Have they even announced which ranking they're using? I don't think they have, right? Maybe this event just isn't happening. I should reach out to them and see. Like Mesa Nomadic Masters, Spring was played. Heroic beat Big in the final. I mean, they kind of need to announce it soon, right? Although it's tier 2. Is it 3? Is it 2 months they have? Is it 2 months they have before? I think it is, right? 2 months before the event. They have to do their additional info because it's a tier 2 event. I'm pretty sure, right? Additional info is no later than 2 months before the tournament. Main event of tier 2 tournaments that feature VRS invitations. So if the event starts on the 15th of October, they've got like another month. They've got until the 15th of August to announce that. So I guess we'll find out soon enough. Yeah, we will have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Like all of these events up here, these are all invited off July as well. So Blast Open, Fisher Playground 2. Fisher Playground 2 is the one that clashes with Star Ladder. So this Star Ladder event, which for some reason is not big. I don't know why it's not big. Is it because the prize money looks low? I don't know, because this says prize other. I don't know why this isn't big up here. But yeah, this event clashes with this event, which means that teams have to pick between the two. So because these events have, I think they both have 16 invites. Starladder has 12. Oh crap! Wrong button. Starladder has 12 invites to the first stage, but it also has 4 invites to the main stage. So they have 16 invites, and Fisher also just has 16 invites. So that should technically mean that the top 32 in the world will get an invite this July. So from this recent update to the next event. So, you know, I'm just sort of sitting here waiting really for our invite. I want to see which tournament we get, because obviously teams will only be able to accept one, so they'll be sort of gradually working their way down the invite lists as teams either decline or accept the 2 events. So I don't know which one we're going to get. I suppose technically as rank 24, we could get invited to both. Right? If 8 teams from each one declined, then you'd have 16 teams accepted, 8 teams total declined from both. you would guarantee that rank 24 would get invited to both events, right? Because you get 8 at one, 8 at the other, and then 8 have declined each other. Yeah, I can't figure out the exact number, but there's a certain amount of teams that would have to decline both that would allow us to get an invite to both, and then we'd get to choose. I have a feeling it won't work out that way. I have a feeling that teams will. I have a feeling that teams will accept Fisher over Starladder, but I don't know that for sure, so we'll see. But we will take whichever one we get. We're not fussy. What any event these days is a good event for us. So yeah, we're just sort of waiting for those invites. We're not playing Pro League as far as I know. I don't think 12 teams or whatever it is will decline. Well, we already know they haven't declined, right? They've all accepted. So we're not playing Pro League. We're not playing Open again because I don't think that so they're inviting 12, we're ranked 24. So I don't think 12 teams will decline, and we're not going to play the qualifier most likely. So we're not playing that. We'll get that one or that one. Not playing Esports World Cup. Probably will play Bounty. I'm actually still not sure about Bounty. I feel like there's an argument to make that playing the Bounty is also not a good idea. I'd be curious to see actually. Does HLTV still have the what's it called? Like they had like the VRS impact from these events. I'm wondering if they still have it up for. Yeah, they do. So this is obviously the playoffs. So Eternal Fire got loads of points because they were so low ranked to begin with, and they got made to the final, right? But do they still have? Yeah, do they have it for this? Because I would assume that most teams lost points here. Yeah, look at that. And even the teams that did win points made almost nothing. G2 made playoffs and got 3 points. Spirit made playoffs, got 4 points. Pain got 38. Who did they beat? Pain beat Gamer Legion and made playoffs and beat FaZe and got 38 points. So yes, if you get big upsets, you can just about get positive. But like almost every other team, like these teams all qualify for playoffs, right? Like a lot of these teams all qualify for playoffs. No wait, hold on. So Bet Boom, Eternal Fire, G2, Heroic, Pain, Vitality, Na'Vi, Spirit. Na'Vi negative. Spirit just about positive. Like, it's not worth it, guys. Like even on the lower end, like even the teams that like were expected to lose and still lost like big points. Like losing this amount of points for like playing an online match is almost not worth it. Like we lost 38 points losing to Virtus Pro, who had just bought a player for like more money than we spend on our yearly budget. It's just crazy. Yeah. And like even if you do win a match and then lose, you still only win 2 points. Like what did Astralis do in this event? They beat Wildcard, which is not the biggest win, and then they lost to Na'Vi and they got plus 2 points. Like as a European team, I guess it's whatever because you're playing from home, and it's just like, you're not the time investment is so minimal that it almost doesn't matter. But as a North American team or a South American team or an Asian team or an Oceanic team, traveling all the way there to essentially lose ranking points, even if you do well, is not for me, dog. And the chances of you even winning matches is already quite low, right? Because you don't get to fly in 2, 3, 4 days early to adjust to the jet lag. Like going back to that Blast handbook thing, the 9,000 euros that they're meant to give you they're going to try and claim it's dollars, but it clearly says euros. It isn't enough to cover a boot camp for a week, so it doesn't actually cover the costs of you being there for the entire week. Like I remember doing the calculations for a team like the Mongols or FlyQuest flying from Australia, or even like the teams flying from like Rio or Sao Paulo, and they would spend like 7,500, 8,000 of that 9,000 just on flights. And like a boot camp for a day will probably run you somewhere between 600 and 1,000, roughly. Plus you got to pay for hotel rooms. Like, it's just not possible. So not only is the event for foreign or non-EU teams essentially pay to play, because you have to spend your own money to travel to the event. Yeah, the VRS value is minimal at best. Like, yes, you could win, but like even if you win both the matches online, you still might only gain 35 points or whatever it is. If you then lose the first match on land, you're basically not even breaking even. So, yeah, not a big fan of Blast right now, if I'm honest. At least I'm allowed to criticize these events because there's no gag order in place from a participation agreement. So at least I'm allowed to speak my mind on it. And I've just done it again. I said I was going to go away after 1 hour, and then I got distracted, and I've just sat here and spoken for another hour. So I am going to bed because it is nearly midnight, and I'm going to answer one more question because I just saw it. Why are there so many more big tournaments now? Were the exclusivity agreements restricting new tournament operators that much? They weren't necessarily restricting tournament operators that much, because there was no restriction in place. Two facets to this. One, they were not exclusivity agreements. Just want to clarify that. The agreements that like the Louvre agreement and the Blast agreement that the partnership teams had, they were not exclusivity agreements. Good example is while the Blast finals were happening in London in June 2024, we were playing an ESL event in Sweden at the same time. And that was completely fine, no problems there. They were not exclusivity agreements, but what would have likely happened is if anyone tried to muscle their way into the ecosystem, there was limited amounts of calendar space available, and the partnership teams were obviously expected to play the partnership events. So the chances of other organizers coming in and actually getting the top teams was pretty minimal. Now the open circuit is here. There's a lot more choice and a lot more freedom, and as you can see, teams are beginning to filter in and out of events as they please. So I think that is obviously the reason. I just want to clarify, like, not exclusivity agreements, and there was no direct restriction, but because of the way the partnerships were structured, the likelihood of the new operators coming in and actually getting the top teams was probably quite minimal. So yeah, there you go. Right, I'm going to bed now because I am tired, and it is past my bedtime because I'm going to get woken up in about 6.5 hours, almost on the dot, by my son jumping on my head. So peace out. Make sure you go to the Face It Club. Make sure you go to the Discord. I'm going to spam the QR codes a few times. There you go. There's the Discord. Boom. There's the Face It Club. Boom. There's the shop. Boom. Head over to those. Buy your merch. Join the Face It Club. Play to earn great prizes every month. And we'll run some community nights in the future. The Discord is a great place to sit and chat with like-minded friends and fellows, fans of Complexity or staff. I'm in there very often. Jason frequents every now and then when he has time, and we've got the community management. We've got Scott and Katie, and everyone is all in there, and we're all having a great time. And you can use it as an outlet to just ask me random questions whenever you please, because I have no life and I live on Discord. And yeah, we'll be back next week. Time to be decided because of the tournament match that may be happening at the same time. And other than that, looking forward to the matches next week. Yeah, the next time we speak, we'll have played some official matches. So yeah, hopefully everything there goes well. We'll try and get some snippets of media out with the guys. In the weekend, I think, because I'm heading over there on Saturday. I'll take my camera with me, and we'll see what we can get out. A few little things, but nothing too serious. And I think that's about it, really. It's been a good one. Said it was going to be an hour, ended up being 2 hours, the usual. Heading over to the outro now. Enjoy the rest of your days, evenings, mornings, whatever it is that you may be. And yeah, we'll be back next week. Peace out.